how's it going, friends? Thank you for tuning in to VR Revelations. Welcome. It is January 22nd, the year of our Lord 2023. Make sure you give this video a like and make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications whenever I drop videos. So, I think the West, Ukraine's allies, won't be satisfied until we see a nuclear explosion on national television. Then they will realize what's at stake here. Because up until now, these knuckleheads keep sending more weapons to Ukraine. And Russia has repeatedly warned, as we're about to read here, that these things are only going to escalate the situation. Now, Russia isn't invincible. Even though Napoleon said that they pretty much were, Russia can't take on Ukraine if every other nation continues to send their weapons into Ukraine. They can keep on fighting for a while, but eventually they're going to have to resort to nuclear weapons. So why would they wait for the situation to get that critical when they could wipe out Ukraine and put an end to all of this with, at the very least, small tactical nukes, right? They don't have to use their biggest weapons. They can use small tactical nukes to wipe out a large part of the enemy. Now, we saw the West just had a meeting at the airfield, Ramstein airfield in Germany, and they failed to reach a consensus, especially on Germany's part, in allowing the German Leopard 2 tanks to be sent to Ukraine. But Germany literally just said a couple of hours ago that if Poland wants to go ahead and send their Leopard 2 German tanks, that Germany won't get in the way. So it looks like they are going to fold in the midst of the pressure that Ukraine is putting on Germany and all these other nations. And we're probably going to see some Leopard 2 German tanks in Ukraine. Now, I still don't think that we're going to see a World War III all-out nuclear conflict over Ukraine. I don't think the United States is going to go troops on the ground, declare war on Russia over Ukraine. They're not going to go fight right on Russia's border. They have no business there. And, they're just making the most out of the situation. But the knuckleheads in control are absolute idiots. They keep ignoring nuclear weapons like they don't exist. They think they're fighting like Iraq or Afghanistan or something. Like Russia has these weapons. They have thousands of them. They could have took out the whole of Ukraine months ago if they so chose to. And at that point, the United States and every other nation would have to make a decision. Do we want to end the world over Ukraine? And I don't think they want to. They're just being idiots. And they keep sending these infantry vehicles and this artillery. And so they think that Russia's just going to sit there and take it and take it. No, they're going to get tired. And what I'm thinking could happen here, even though I don't think we're going to see the end of the world as the Bible prophesied over Ukraine, I do think that we might see a small tactical nuke on national television. And let's take a look, because now one of the high-ranking officials in Russia just warned that if they continue to send these supplies or these armaments into Ukraine, and even more so if they send their tanks, which it seems like they're about to do, not in mass numbers, but if they do and the Russians see German tanks in Ukraine, then I think we might see a small tactical nuclear weapon on national television. And then I think these idiotic politicians in the United States like Lindsey Graham, that spineless politician, is going to cower away. And they're going to leave Ukraine alone. But up until now, they just don't seem to realize that we're talking about nuclear weapons here. By the way, I just released a video showing just how massive these bombs can get. Go check it out. So let's jump right into it, guys. You see here from Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, Russian State Duma head joins officials warning of nuclear retaliation in Ukraine. Again, it's being reported by pretty much every mainstream news media, as you see here: New York Post, CNBC, Reuters, CNBC, Politico, pretty much all of them. So let's go ahead and take a read here. The head of Russia's State Duma has said that the promised deliveries of additional weapons to Kyiv by Western countries could heighten the war in Ukraine to a new level that could result in a global catastrophe. Vyacheslav Volodin wrote on his Telegram channel on January 22nd that if Washington and NATO countries supply weapons that will be used to strike civilian cities and attempt to seize our territories, this will lead to retaliatory measures using more powerful weapons. The comments by the head of Russia's lower house of parliament were broadly taken to mean nuclear weapons, and he has now joined other high-ranking Russian officials who have recently threatened a significant escalation of the unprovoked war the Kremlin launched against Ukraine in 11 months. Obviously, you can see Radio Free Europe's bias clearly coming into play here. Unprovoked. Yeah, okay, that unprovoked, right. The United States is literally trying to arm a nation right on the border of Russia. Right, unprovoked. Let's pretend like we don't understand politics, right? The comments also come after representatives of 54 countries gathered last week in Germany to coordinate additional military aid for Ukraine at the Ramstein airfield base that the United States operates in Germany. The members of the Ukraine Contact Group on January 20th announced a new package of armed deliveries, including air defense systems, missiles, and mechanized armor, aimed at helping Ukraine succeed in an expected counteroffensive to push Russian forces out of Ukraine territory. In September, Russia claimed to have annexed 4 Ukrainian territories, the eastern Donetsk and Luhansk regions, as well as the southern Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, following what were widely considered to be sham referendums. Widely considered by Western puppets and the United States. The move to annex the Ukrainian territory 7 months into Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine was condemned by the United Nations or the United States, and has only been recognized by Russian allies Syria and North Korea. Oh wow, only those two. China, they didn't say anything. They're on Russia's side, so you can pretend to act like it's only Syria and North Korea, but no. In 2014, Russia illegally annexed Ukraine's Crimean. I love how they always just got to emphasize like illegally. Illegal war, illegal invasion, unjustified invasion. It's so laughable. Anyways, there you have it, guys. I'm not going to read the rest of the article. It's just Western propaganda trying to bash on Russia. But yeah, basically, these knuckleheads, the Western powers, they continue to send these small arms into Ukraine, and it's not having a major effect on the battlefield. Ukraine's obviously not launching any counteroffensive or anything like that. Russia is about to take Bakhmut, and they're going to move forward, and there's going to be a large operation here pretty soon. But really, this is just a warning that if pretty much we see German tanks in Ukraine and more weapons being sent, Russia's going to have to do something about that, and they can't just continue to lose soldiers due to the fact that the United States keeps sending more weapons. This is literally like, the U.S.'s wet dream to pretty much deplete Russian reserves and cause as much damage without getting directly involved. So at some point, Russia is going to be forced to use nuclear weapons, and I think they're going to use some of their smallest ones. We'll probably see a small tactical nuclear explosion for the first time since the Cold War on national television, and then I think that we'll see these idiot congressmen in the United States back down because, again, they're not going to risk their own lives, their precious United States over Ukraine, right? They're just trying to squeeze as much benefit as they can out of this situation while ignoring nuclear weapons. Like they like to downplay it. It's absolutely absurd. But and in reality, what I think is going on is that God is blinding them through their arrogance and their sinfulness. He's allowing the Americans to make these idiotic decisions. And it might lead to a small nuclear explosion in Ukraine. Again, Russia might anticipate the delivery of these tanks, and they might launch a major offensive to put an end to the war before that. But if they do send these tanks, I think that Russia will resort to using a small nuclear weapon. And then I think all the Western powers are going to have a big wake up, because we're talking about the end of the world here. Again, as I literally just made a video showing how devastating nuclear weapons are. They can literally create weapons that can wipe out an entire state, like the entire United Kingdom. That's how powerful these weapons can actually get. So go check that out, guys. Again, the truth is stranger than fiction. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you give the video a like, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also down in the link below, you can go subscribe to my Rumble channel, where I will be uploading all these videos also. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.